Welcome to the Tribe Digital Marketing Series. I'm joined today by my colleague, Paul Chadwick. Paul, hello.
Hello, 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 hello.
All right. Nice to see you, man.
Nice to see you too, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, a little bit of a shift today because, Paul, you're an account executive with Leedom, but just because you're a seller doesn't mean you can't be a marketer, right? We're all a little bit of both
That's
these
right.
days.
That is correct.
And I think the voice from the front lines is actually a really powerful one, right? So we sell to marketers day in and day out, and you're hearing what's happening on the front lines. So I'd say you've been with Leedom a little over a year now, or maybe a year and a half. So
Yeah,
what have you come
we're
to?
drawing on 2 years.
Coming in close, coming in hot.
Coming in close to 2 years, man. Time's flying.
Well, in that time, what have you come to appreciate and love about marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, as a seller, you can pigeonhole yourself into just trying to get your product or your service across the line. And what's really cool about LeedMD and the folks we work with is it's not about just the product or service. It's about genuinely helping someone on the marketing side or the sales side either get a message across or leverage tools to get that message across. And so coming from, I've had marketing experience in my past, I've had direct sales experience, and combining both essentially that sales and marketing alignment effort and what we do by empowering folks with tools and software from our partners and then enabling them with those tools has been really exciting to see the outcomes from it, right? So, people have challenges both on marketing and how do I stay relevant? How do I have a digital footprint? If I can't get in front of my customers, what am I saying to them? Like, what do you recommend on, follow-ups? Because there's a little bit of a sales and marketing play in both of those, right? Like, what are you saying?
Absolutely.
Like, how are you selling what your service is? But then how are you marketing it in an effective way? And so it's just cool to see when someone gets a system in place and starts aligning on their goals and objectives as an organization, and then has that trickle through into how they tactically execute and see the reward of either driving more demand or saying the right things to the right people at the right time during a buying cycle. And hearing those stories come back and say, wow, that was amazing, or that's great. Like, it's impacted our business and it's created essentially a win-win for everybody. LeedMD wins because they get a new partner. They win because they're executing. So that's probably been my favorite part of the LeedMD and our sales process, but also working with marketers. They're a fun group to work with, and we need to understand one each other to make it work. And it's fun to see when it happens. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I know you're really good at it because I sit next to you. So.
Yeah, we are very well. Not the last couple of months.
Lately,
it's a little weird sitting by myself. Yeah, it's a little weird sitting by myself and not having the normal office banter. But yeah, that's funny.
Well, you mentioned the word relevance, right? And a relevance is a term that crosses sales and marketing, right? That you have to be relevant to your buyer. And right now, relevance is super important as many marketing organizations have shifted away from, they've been forced to shift away from event marketing, from face-to-face QBR type meetings, whatever it may be. What types of things are you seeing that's been worked well for marketers to pivot in a digital world?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think some of the things I've seen is with some of the conversations I've had with folks that maybe don't have marketing automation or don't have a large digital footprint, I think it's a little bit of a light bulb and a sense of urgency to say, oh, wow, maybe we should actually, this is a good time to take a look and step back and say, are we prepared to continue to be successful without face-to-face contact with folks? And so it's created a little bit of an alternate way of thinking about how folks go to market. And so a lot of people are asking questions or just like, what are best practices? Like, yeah, we have Google AdWords and we do X, Y, Z, but how am I continuing to message to these people? Like, we're heavy in, like, to your point, we're heavy in events. How do we continue to message? So I think part of it's been a light bulb for some folks to say, okay, this is the time we do need to buckle down. And some of the conversations I've had are really, it's gone from looking at automation and how to nurture and how to campaign was kind of a later in the year priority, is now shifted to right now.
For sure.
So that's a bulk of some of the conversations. I think where we've seen people successful or some folks who are already doing that. And then leveraging some of the data and attribution they have to say what's working and what's not, and take more calculated risk on things that are working. So,
I like that.
Like for example, someone was doing a bunch of webinars and they were doing live events, and they did, basically just some email drip campaigns. And so they're looking at the three in terms of what was converting for potential revenue for the company. And of course, live events was really good for them. Webinars was probably a decent attribution, like from in terms of conversion from marketing influenced, and then looking at even just the email exchange, et cetera. And they realized like some of the email and drip campaigns that we're having were very successful, and the webinars were doing okay, but not as good as they need, especially this time, because you're losing the live event piece. So they really they almost shifted from doing the webinars and really put a lot of weight into exactly what they know is working from a data perspective. And so just kind of having those conversations and how to pool the data you have has been something cool that we've seen, and how folks have transitioned from their tactics and how they go to markets.
Yeah. So it sounds like there's two camps, right? There's the folks that are using this as that catalyst moment to ramp up their digital transformation efforts because it's a necessity. And then there's those that have been in the game for a while. They're now getting more intelligent about those things that they're doing and doubling down on the most effective channels and messaging. Exactly.
So, and then there's the folks who are like affected, depending on how effective they are from this, that are just really slowing down and kind of holding that base camp. But ultimately, when we see the exciting conversation we're having around some of those things, like you pointed, the need for digital transformation, the need to leverage the data or go get some attribution tools to find what's working, what's not, is really been a couple of channels that have really started to expose themselves in this period.
Yeah, that's really great insights. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing those.